Have you ever considered why society tends to romanticize mental illness? It's an intriguing question, isn't it? This phenomenon isn't something new. It's been happening for years, perhaps even decades. You see, when we talk about romanticizing mental illness, we're referring to the act of making mental health conditions seem glamorous, intriguing, or appealing. This issue is rampant in various forms of media and pop culture. You'll find it in movies, TV shows, books, and music. Characters with mental illnesses are often portrayed as mysterious, creative, or tragically beautiful. These portrayals, while compelling, can distort our understanding of what mental illness actually looks like. Does the media's portrayal of mental illness contribute to a romanticized view of it? Are we, as consumers of media, being led astray in our understanding and perception of mental health? These are important questions that need to be explored, so let's dive deeper. Let's examine the facts and figures to understand the gravity of this issue. To say that mental illness is a global concern would be an understatement. According to the World Health Organization, 1 in 4 people worldwide will be affected by mental or neurological disorders at some point in their lives. That's nearly 2 billion people if we're playing the numbers game. But the problem isn't just the sheer number of people affected, it's also about who's affected. In recent years, there's been a marked increase in mental health issues among young people. The American Psychological Association reports that the rate of individuals under 20 reporting symptoms consistent with major depression has increased over 50% in the last decade. And it's not just depression. Anxiety disorders, eating disorders, and others are also on the rise. And here's where the issue of romanticizing mental illness comes into play. There's a stark disparity between the reality of these conditions and how they're often portrayed in the media. Mental illness isn't a quirky character trait or a path to deeper artistic insight as often shown in movies or TV shows. It's a serious health issue that can have profound impacts on people's lives. Consider this. The National Alliance on Mental Illness states that individuals with severe mental illness die, on average, 25 years earlier than the general population. This is largely due to treatable medical conditions that go unchecked because of a lack of adequate health care and the social stigma associated with mental illness. Yet, despite these grim realities, the media often glosses over the pain and struggle associated with mental illness, choosing instead to highlight the perceived beauty in suffering or the genius in madness. This is not only misleading but also dangerous, as it can lead to an underestimation of the seriousness of mental health issues. The numbers don't lie, and they paint a concerning picture. The chasm between the reality of mental illness and its portrayal in the media is not just concerning, it's alarming. It's a problem that needs our immediate attention. The romanticization of mental illness has far-reaching effects. It's as pervasive as it is harmful. When we romanticize mental illness, we paint a picture that is often far from reality. We create a narrative where mental illnesses are seen as beautiful struggles, badges of honor, or intriguing quirks rather than what they truly are. Serious health issues that affect people's lives on a profound level. This romanticization doesn't just create a false image, it fosters stigma and misunderstanding. It makes it harder for those who are truly suffering to be taken seriously. It feeds into the idea that mental illness is just a matter of perspective, a personality trait, or even a choice. This can lead to people trivializing the experiences of those who are mentally ill, dismissing their struggles as mere dramatics or attention-seeking behavior. Moreover, it can prevent individuals from seeking help. If mental illness is romanticized, it may not be seen as something that needs treatment. It can create a dangerous illusion that suffering in silence is noble, that hiding pain behind a mask is brave. This can lead to people not seeking the help they need, not reaching out when they are in pain, because they believe that their suffering is somehow beautiful or meaningful in a twisted way. Lastly, romanticization of mental illness can lead to self-diagnosis and self-medication. If mental illness is seen as something desirable or intriguing, individuals may be tempted to label themselves with certain conditions without seeking a professional diagnosis. This can be dangerous, as it may lead to inappropriate treatments, misunderstanding of one's own mental health, or even ignoring other potential health issues. Self-medication, too, can have disastrous effects, as it often involves substances or behaviors that can exacerbate mental health issues rather than alleviate them. The consequences of this romanticization are real and damaging. It's time we start seeing mental illness for what it truly is, a health issue that deserves understanding, compassion, and appropriate treatment. We must strive for change in the way mental illness is portrayed and understood. When we speak about mental illness, it's crucial to remember the importance of accurate representation. We're not just talking about getting the facts right, we're talking about the power of perception, the influence of imagery, and the weight that words carry. When mental illness is romanticized or misrepresented in media, it can perpetuate harmful stereotypes and misconceptions, creating a distorted view of what mental health struggles truly entail. So how can we shift this narrative? One way is through education. We need to imbue our societies with a better understanding of mental health. For too long, mental illness has been shrouded in mystery and misunderstanding, leading to stigma and discrimination. By increasing mental health education, we can foster empathy, promote understanding, and ultimately, break down the barriers of stigma. But education is not enough. Awareness is another key element. We need to shine a light on the realities of living with a mental illness, dispelling the myths and highlighting the human experience behind the diagnosis. This means sharing real-life stories, promoting open dialogues, and encouraging individuals to speak up about their experiences. Yet, the call for change doesn't stop there. It's up to each one of us to challenge harmful narratives and stereotypes about mental illness. We need to critically examine the media we consume and question the portrayals we encounter. Are they accurate? Are they empathetic? Do they perpetuate harmful stereotypes, or do they challenge them? Remember, change begins with us. It starts with a willingness to learn, to listen, and to question. It requires us to challenge our own biases, to broaden our perspectives, and to stand up against harmful narratives. This call for change is not just about improving portrayals of mental illness in the media. It's about fostering a society that understands, respects, and supports individuals living with mental illness. Together, we can change the narrative and stop the romanticization of mental illness.